All right, guys, welcome back to this episode with Courtside with Coach. My name is Coach Gabe Fontenot, Athletic Director here at Bishop Noland. Happy to be joined by track head coach Duane Clemmons. Coach, thanks for sitting down with us today.
Sure.
So today we're going to highlight and talk about the track and field season, ask Coach some questions, kind of get an idea of how he does things, and talk about the season that we had and still are having this year and kind of what the future holds for Bishop Noland. So, Coach, first of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, and how long you've been coaching.
Well, I've been coaching this year marks 26 years. I've been coaching altogether. Started off as a track coach at the North Campus, and was with the North Campus for 14 years, and then I coached over at Lacassine for 6, and then came back. And this is my 5th year back coaching with Bishop Noland and coaching our high school program.
Awesome. And what makes you, I guess, stay at Bishop Noland? Obviously, you left. I remember you left for a stint at Lacassine, so you can get out there and coach. I remember you coached Natalie out there, and helped with a couple golf championships, and did cross country and track. But I guess what made you come back, and what makes you keep coming back to Bishop Noland?
Oh, it's in that situation right there. It was a neat opportunity that I feel like God set up for me to be able to work with my kids and teach my kids. And then once again, the situation to come back to Bishop Noland, I feel was a godsend. Because I was looking for something challenging, and the thought of coming back to Bishop Noland to not just enhance the junior high program that we had started so many years ago, but to build a high school program. That was just a exciting challenge for me, and I wanted to come back and do that. And that's what keeps me coming back, is how we can get better every year to be more competitive in the area and in the state.
Sure. And to kind of put things into perspective, so Coach left, but I was still in contact with him every single year. So he was instrumental in us starting the cross country program. Even when we started with one kid, I was the coach that one year, but he walked me through how to do it. I was always calling him, asking him track questions and things like that. And I always kind of felt like you would be back. It's kind of a feeling.
It's family. Yep. It's family, because you never lost contact. I never lost contact with anyone here, with the administration. Of course, my wife works for Bishop Noland. She's been Bishop Noland almost 30 years now. And that was just part of it. It was still a family situation. Yeah. And when family calls, you come back.
For sure. And so kind of piggybacking off of, you were saying how you started the middle school program at the North Campus, and you fostered that and you built that. Talk to us a little bit about, like, I guess what it takes to have the middle school program, but like kind of up and running, but how long it takes to be consistent and have that thing moving. Because, I think people are like, well, we have a high school program now, and they kind of expect it just to happen overnight. Like, how long did it take you to really get that middle school program up and running?
Oh, goodness. When I started back in 2000, we had 20 kids from 5th grade to 8th grade. And tough. We went to some really tough meets in the area. We didn't have as many meets for kids to get into either. And it started with you had to find the meets that really fit the level of what our kids were trying to develop on, because you don't want to scare the kids. You don't want to wear them out, and you don't want to discourage them. So we ended up, I know it worked out to where we had a group of kids that came up, and oh my goodness, they're now in their 30s now. And they were a group of kids that worked together, that had fun. That was one thing too. We didn't have a track to practice on at the North Campus. So with a kid, it was really neat, because we had the kids get invested. We would get out there and level the field off. We would get out there and mow the grass, and the kids that was their ownership. They knew where to run, and they knew how to practice on the field. And I think it just carried over from year to year, and it kept building. And it also, the track program was a good basis for building up the conditioning that they needed for basketball. And then later on, we built the football program, and then the volleyball program. It was a good base sport for the kids to get involved with it.
Slowly over time, and then all of a sudden.
Definitely. And then with the high school program, you want to see kids that come up, and especially at the junior high level, middle school level, you want everybody to have as much reps, as much participation as possible, so they find what they like.
Right.
And sometimes, and just like any sport, as they get older, They'll find a sport that they really like, and they're going to really participate in it. Though you do encourage them to experiment and participate in other sports besides just one.
Yeah,
so that they build on that.
Yep, for sure. And so my question, so we watch you, you do track, but also cross country, and you host meets, I mean, several of them throughout the year and all that, and we're hosting one actually on the 25th for CCAL, which is a big meet. What's your preparation like, and what kind of stuff you have to do behind the scenes in preparing for like a big championship meet for one, but also just hosting a meet in general? Kind of tell people what that requires behind the scenes, because no one really sees that. They just see you on meet day. Yeah. And they don't understand the amount of time and all the things that we have to do behind the scenes. So I'm interested for you to kind of just share from start to finish kind of what that looks like.
The first thing with any cross country meet, any indoor or outdoor track meet, the first and most important thing is especially in this day and time, with so much of technology involved, is finding the right timer. Finding the right person or group that knows how to set up a timing system. And because everything's about numbers, and kids are looking at where their numbers are. They're going, football kids and kids that play basketball, they go and huddle to see how their performance is. And then athletic.net, which is a really great online program, they have a track of how kids are doing with their designated event. And so the first thing is get that right timer, and then that's the biggest part. And then you start finding the people that help out with the peripheral, the ones that work with the announcing, the ones that help out with getting the medals taken care of. You got to make sure you have your concessions and your gate covered. And then, of course, one of the other toughest parts of the job is finding the people that are going to be your judges for your field events. You want to get people that are very experienced, but you like having people that want to learn. They want to learn the sport, they want to learn the event, and they get in there and they do a great job with it. We had a super job this year, because this was the first year when we had our meet on March 21st, where we had parents and other coaches and other members of the school that came to help us out. And they did a fantastic job streamlining how we ran our events. We had great compliments on how well the events went, because I tell you what, if you can't get your field events to work right, it sets the tone for the rest of the meet.
Yeah, for sure.
Because because you want to have the organization there. You want to make sure that you have every tool available to those people so they can administer a great event and keep things flowing.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I can tell you, like Coach and I will start. We get these dates set almost a year in advance.
Yes.
From there, we're contacting. Because we obviously don't have a track yet, but we're contacting the school board. We're getting fees paid. We're getting insurance. We're getting all these forms filled out. Coaches getting interest from all the other schools in the area that want to come. He's promoting it. He's like you said, finding the timer, finding the judge, finding this, finding that, and all on top of still managing your team as well as teaching your daily job, and on top of, he's also a co-commissioner through the CCAL and through ASIL. So you're a little busy at times.
A little busy.
How do you, like, as far as when you come up to like a championship meet, like you guys just had the state meet for ASIL and you guys did really well, or is there anything you're doing different leading up to that? Or are you just more or less focusing on, here's what we did well, here's what we got to keep focusing on? Or is there anything?
One thing that I found in 26 years of coaching is that kids are more active, especially kids who get involved with a sport. They're active in other sports. They're active in other activities. So you try not to burn them out.
Right.
You really want to work your best not to burn them out. One of the toughest things, I guess, in recent years, and what I want to do to help out our kids is, okay, tell me what you're doing. What are your interests? What are you doing? Okay, so you play soccer, you play tournament volleyball, you're doing this other type of sport activity. All right, well, how can I train you to be your best, but yet not burn you out or stress any part of your body that because used to we had where you had one season, didn't live to the next season. Now you got year-round seasons.
Right.
And so that's one of the biggest worries that I have for a lot of my athletes today, is that I'm not burning them out, and that whatever I do with them is not going to hurt them overall,
Right.
which is what I hope from the other coaches who coach these other sports, what they worked with these kids.
Spring is a busy time.
Spring is a busy time. And so one of the things that's my goal is get to the point of the activity. Don't spend a whole lot of time fluffing up the conditioning or fluffing up the exercise. Okay, what is the event that you want to do? All right, let's get right to it, and let's knock out what we're supposed to get done so we can move on.
Got it.
So it's a lot of specificity in there.
Got it. And kind of going back to, I know we talked about the North Campus. You and Coach Potvin work pretty close together. He works with, the younger, the 5th and 6th grade, and then they come over here and they kind of seem to have you guys have this neat little system to where when they come here, they're ready to roll for the most part. And a lot of them actually start working out with you, 5th and 6th grade too, some of them. How has he helped kind of, I guess, keep that tradition going at the North Campus, but also kind of springboard them here to the South Campus for your program?
You got to love Ryan's enthusiasm for the sport of cross country and for track and field. And he'll tell you too, he's the data man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And I tell you what, that helps me as well, because he sends me a lot of paperwork. And as a coach, the worst thing I can ever do is say that I figured it all out. I keep learning, and I learn stuff from Ryan. Right, and some of the things that he uses for statistics with the data that he works with his younger kids. Well, we just transfer that over and keep it going with our older kids. And I love the fact that he too is working to manage the kids and not burn them out, and he does a really good job of how he trains those kids and gives them the rest that they need, and their preparation is really good.
Yeah, he's one who really opened my eyes for tracking data. Like I carried that into basketball, and it's when I sat with him several years ago, and he showed me all these spreadsheets. I'm like, "You do this for 5th and 6th grade track?" And he's like, "Absolutely." And so I started doing it for basketball, and it's completely. I mean, it's helped us a ton doing that. And every time I see a spreadsheet, I think of him. And or if I'm at the mall or something, or on Christmas time, I'll see a gift of it's like a gag gift with a spreadsheet on a mug or something. I'll text it to him.
In sports today, I mean, it's data driven
for sure.
And so for gone are the days when a coach can just sit back and say, "Well, we're just going to move on to this next one." Oh, that kid was strong that last time, but now you find yourself you got all this technology, you have all this stuff that's online. You can go in there and you can see, okay, what's your best competition right here? Just like if you're looking at your scouting, it's a scouting report.
Yeah, for sure.
And the technology that we have now for scouting, even for track, is amazing. Yeah,
it makes it more organized, more safe. It gives more buy-in to the kids. It's just good all the way around. So a couple more questions. So what is your vision for the program as a whole?
Vision I would love to see we've been having such success with our cross country program, with some JV state championships. Would love to start seeing where we could retain more kids to really get more involved with pushing for varsity championships in ASIL, and of course, just keep in growing the program for our middle school so that kids are involved.
Right.
And what I'd like to see is more of exposure of our kids, our athletes, what they can do in the area and the state. That's one of the reasons why we step up to host meets. Is we're advertising our school, we're advertising our abilities of our students, not just academically but athletically, and to keep that program growing to where we are a name in the state.
Absolutely, because that's what we want as we look forward and ahead towards our LHSAA membership. We need that. We need our younger kids to continue to filter in to that varsity level. That way we have a presence and we have everything settled to where when we make that jump, then it's ready to rock and roll, which I mean, like you said, your JV program is really solid. This year we saw some kids filtering into varsity, and we get to keep that.
Our varsity rolling, kids, we were few, but we were very mighty. I mean, coming home with state championships in long jump and javelin in the 100 and 200. Exciting. It was just exciting to watch.
And then last question I got for you. If you had any advice for any of the younger kids coming from the North Campus to the South Campus, and any of the kids that are in JV now thinking about transitioning to varsity next year on this campus, what would that be?
It would be focus. Find your focus. Find your what you love about the sport. stick with it, get better with it, but always, open up your horizons a little bit. Don't be afraid to participate in every kind of sport that you can growing up.
Sure.
And then, but what you want to specify in, do your very best to it. Do your homework. I know we have one young man that is doing super for us in our sprinting work, and he does that extra work outside of school, just like anyone that's in basketball. It's more than what they do with you a Monday through Friday, or sometimes a Monday through Saturday. It's that stuff that they're doing at home too, to work on their jump shot, to work on their agility.
For sure.
And that's what I would suggest too for our track kids.
All right, well, Coach, we appreciate you sitting down with us. Enjoyed the conversation. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Tune into the next episode as well. And this has been Coach Gabe with Courtside with Coach, signing out.